Kar Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakatawa, Brakatawa Shai, Brakatawa, Brakatawa Shai, Brakatawa, Brakatawa Shai, Thawada, Abba, Abba, Kar Kadash. I'd like to give double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone that teach us truth, 100% truth, according to the Bible. Do a lesson today. It's going to be on having a wife or relations with women. And when you come into this truth, I'm kind of guiding this off. I was riding a wave off the brothers from GMS Dallas, Elder Ashawanda, something like that. Shalaki if I messed the name up. But him and another guy, another brother was doing a video on when you come to this truth, you begin to start to form a change, like a metamorphosis. And the things that you used to do, you don't do anymore. The friends that you used to hang with or people you talk to, your conversations start to fade, starts to fade less as far as dealing with others, dealing with other people. You become more isolated and more connected to this truth and to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth, as we grow, because we begin to grow and separate ourselves from this world. As Scripture tells us, we are not of this world. We are the world to come, from the world to come. And like I say, a lot of times just dealing with women. Some of us may have women that we deal with, but because we at the end game, we at the time where every vital second, every moment, is very important. We have to be very mindful of the time that we're in. We're not in a time of mirth. We're not in a time of building and growing, in this world, but in the world to come. And that's where our focus should be. And not to say that we have to do it full time, 24/7, but this truth should always be in the back of your mind somewhere, really for part of your mind, I know we have to live our lives, we have to function, we have to still survive in this world that we're in, up under our oppressors. But at the same time, we're mindful of the steps, how we do our conversations with people, how we move, who we hang out with, who we talk to, and that's part of this spiritual awakening that we have. And like I said, having a woman, you're not going to be able to give them the time that you may have once gave before you came into this truth. I know before I came into this truth, a lot of times I focused the majority of my time, either dealing with women on some type of level, And once I became this truth, you realize they're not that important, other than, we do have that fire, we Israelites. Sometimes, you want to give the woman because, you're burning, you have that burning inside. And that burning of the flesh. But as you grow in this truth, man, the Lord is going to help you deal with that burning desires. And I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 8. This is the Apostle Paul speaking. And he said, I said, therefore, to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain them, marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. And this is Apostle Paul saying, because it's better to be like I, because he didn't have a woman at that time, He was on this grind and this truth. And that's how we must be coming to this truth, man. We grow more and more into this truth, man. And this truth and this knowledge becomes our relationship with Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. It's like anybody that's dating a woman, in order to keep that woman's attention, you just can't ignore and think that, they're going to come to you, pretty soon they're going to move on and go on to somebody else. So that's the same with this truth with Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. It's like a love letter, you constantly writing them, let them know how you feel, what you're going through, your emotions and all the other things. That's what we do when we connect with Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. as we read the Bible, as we meditate on His Word, as we grow in His truth, as we listen to lessons, things of that nature. Verse 10, and unto the married I command, yet not, but the Lord Yahweh let not the wife depart from her husband. So if you do get married, you have a wife, that wife still is not your focus. Your main focus is in this truth. But what Apostle Paul was alluding to, that when you're in this truth, especially as a bishop, in this truth, most of your focus is going to be on doing the will of the Lord. And so a lot of times these women, especially these modern day women here in Babylon the Great, man, they're going to feel neglected. You know, women loves attention, and she's not getting the attention that she's seeking. They're going to move on. You know, they're going to look elsewhere. And if, you know, you focus on this truth, and it can cause some derision there. And a lot of times that can be a stumbling block for some brothers in this truth, is dealing with their women, because their women can't deal with your time that you putting in with Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh. And believe it, you know, our women are very jealous, man. They want that attention. If they're not getting that attention, a woman will get jealous between you and you dealing with Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh, you know. So kind of keep that in mind. You know, if you can go without, go without. But I know we do have a burning of the flesh. If you go deal with the women, like the elder apostles tell you, you know, if you go deal with women, then if you got to pay to play or whatever, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Many of the prophets have done it also. But keep your focus, keep your eyes single on this truth. That's the most important thing we can do, man. Do what the Lord has told us to do. So I'm going to go to Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And the reason I came up with that precept for this lesson is because who in the hell really wants a woman in this world that we in, man? In the society we in? Who wants to date a woman in this world in this time that we in? First of all, to find a woman that's not totally, hasn't been brainwashed or taken over by this feminism or this feminist ideology, you know, thinking that they're better than a man, that they rule over men, that they can easily have you locked up if, you know, you try to, for anything. You know, if they get pissed off, they can always call 911, just lie on you. And a lot of jakes are locked up behind that. You know, that you get her pregnant, you know, they're going to, if you had children by them, they can go down to the court, you know, and put you on child support, which is one of the things I'm dealing with, you know. Yeah, who really wants to have a wife or a woman in the society, man? It's not even worth it. And plus, like the elders often say, you're not getting a virgin woman, man. And that's how it's supposed to be. These women are all whores, man. They all done slept with more than one man. And therefore, that's classifies them as being a whore. We looking for the kingdom to come, man, where our women are going to be pure. She's going to be especially catered to you. You know, if you have a child, it's not going to be having a child in this society, in this world, man. It's like having a curse put on you with that child, because they use that child against you, and especially in this society, you can't correct your child, so then you have to worry about your child with all this agendas that's pushing towards the kids, man. And who would the hell want that nightmare of having a child in this society, you know? But, you know, some of us brothers that do have children, you know, we have it for a reason, so that we know we go in the kingdom. That's a learning lesson, man, about how the law is going to be when you do have a child, and it ain't gonna be no damn child support in the kingdom to come, man. All that wicked shit and these wicked rules that were put out by Esau Edom, man, it's just gonna be done away with. A woman is gonna have to be pure to her man, you know, not going out here sleeping with other men. Hell, you gotta worry about them sleeping with other women. You know, you have to worry about another woman taking your woman, man. In this society, man, who would want a fucking woman in this society? They all fake, they all made up, you know, with the long, crazy eyelashes, you know, cake batter all in the face, you know, the blonde wigs, the lace fronts, the booty injections, the BBLs, the smell, you just name it, man. It just goes on and on, shit that you got to deal with. And on top of that, the attitudes, you know, the attitudes you have to deal with. because they know they're in a position of power over you, Jakes, man. Your women know she has that power because Esau Edom gave her that power to destroy you. And what really led me to this, because you got to be careful. You don't even know if it's a damn woman, especially in some of these major cities, man. Even in the country, because I'm way out in the sticks, little small ass town that I'm in, man, and all type of homosexual activity all around, man. That little small ass town. If that place has got infected, how much more in these cities, with these transgender operations, where Esau become like a master at doing that now. They can definitely disguise and change up shit so much, you don't know what you're even dealing with. And it's vexing, man. It's vexing to the soul. For me to even just go to Walmart, or even go to, maybe go through a drive-through or something to pick up some food, you're dealing with these flaming homosexuals, because they have that proud spirit on them in this society, because it pushes that agenda, man. It glorifies that thing where they call coming out and being being a mo, man. And yeah, so you definitely don't want to date in this society. Because you don't know what you're getting, you know what you're dealing with, you don't know what's in the package. And then you look at some of the statistics. A lot of the women in Babylon the Great, man, are disease filled, man. And some of them a lot of them have incurable diseases like herpes and AIDS. So you don't know what you're dealing with in that situation. And we're not talking about other stuff like gonorrhea, syphilis, and these other STDs that have come out. And they talking about there's a new one coming out, like a flesh-eating one. So it's really not worth it, man. If you can go without, man, the Lord will, they pray the Lord can sustain us till that time. But if you do, like I say, you burning, just pray, man. Pray for protection. If you do have to go and deal with the women, pray that the Lord send the right one in your direction. And yeah, it's like a fucking nightmare. So we'd rather have our women in the kingdom, man, where there's not gonna be any condoms in the kingdom, man. You're gonna be able to run your rod up in your woman without some damn plastic barrier between you and that woman. That woman's gonna be pure. She's gonna be catered towards you. But it's just crazy, man, in this world that we in. And it's like a fucking nightmare, and Lord will, we're able to endure and come out of it. Got another precept I want to hit is St. Luke chapter 4, verse 24. And he said, verily, I say unto you, no prophet is accepted in his own country. And really, like in our own community or our own families, man. Because when we come in this truth, you try to let your people know that they're Israelites, people that and you think they're going to receive this truth, but a lot of them, they're not going to receive it. And like the brothers were saying, you got to be mindful, because when you tell some of them might become agents, man, and turn you in, or they're going to speak lies against you and all type of things, so we have to be very mindful, especially dealing with our family members when you're in this truth. And as you grow in this truth, man, you just learn to kind of separate yourself. You don't speak as much, you don't get involved in family functions and things of that matter. You know what you're dealing with, because the conversation is not where you want to be anyhow. You can't talk to them about the things that's going on in the world because they don't see it, or either they refuse to see it. They're comfortable in their affliction, man. A lot of Jakes have become very comfortable in their affliction, so they're accepting of this society, so they blend right in with the society. That's why they go along with the alphabet agendas and all these other things that's going on in the world, man. So Lord will, man, we're able to endure. We're able to hold out, because we know the time is near. How we know it's near? Because we look at the prophecy, how it's lining up. We're almost in the stages of World War III, Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, all these things about to be unleashed. So don't let your family or your friends or people that you deal with become a stumbling block that may pull you up out of this truth, man. And Lord, will us lessons edifying with that. Say shalom.